Do you envision a world where online sales tax rates and compliance will be the same no matter which state you're doing business in?
No.
No?
No, yeah.
No?
Great.
No, yeah?
I'm saying yes, I agree with Karen.
He's edgy. Yeah,
This is my first
There's
speed
no
round.
way.
Thank you, Karen. I'm nervous.
Ken and Michael back for the shot of Business Central. And we got some interesting news today, not jam-packed with a whole bunch of news, but definitely some interesting news. I think I'm going to start out with an interesting comment we had on podcast episode 28 by a person who goes by the name Errol Kuhnman. And Errol Kuhnman wrote in and told us that there was misinformation in the podcast about storage. Concerning database capacity changes, the 40 gigabyte for blobs is gone. And Errol, you're correct. The 40 gigabyte file storage limit is no longer separate, and it is actually counted towards the overall 80 gigabyte database. So thank you for keeping us, and especially me, on our toes. And then Errol also had an interesting comment, and this person said, so Microsoft marketed the changes as a win to everyone, but actually it was for a win for companies with 20 or more full users and a loss for everyone else. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Why is it a loss?
Yeah, I don't know. And I understand maybe the loss.
What's the loss?
So Errol's comment was there was misinformation in the podcast about storage. Yeah. So Microsoft marketed the changes as a win to everyone, but actually it was a win for companies with 20 or more full users and a loss for everyone else. I see it as maybe a loss for everybody if you're losing the 40 gigabyte blob for the storage. I don't know why it's 20 or more users.
Yeah, don't know.
All right. Well, Errol, if you're listening,
I'm gonna take his word for it because he called you out on the first thing and was right. So,
yeah,
So
definitely.
we're gonna assume he's right on that.
Yeah, but write in and let us know.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see.
maybe Errol's candidate to come on the show and have
Yeah.
a beer with us too.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know,
that.
Errol, for sure. All right, let's see what else I got here for news. I've got a production environments reminder. So existing customers with Business Central Premium or Essential subscriptions purchased before October 1st, 2020 will keep their existing environment entitlements, which is currently 3 production and 3 sandbox environments. You get to keep them for 1 year.
So let's say I'm running Business Central today.
Yep.
I can run three production environments and 3 sandbox environments.
Correct.
All
right
within my
Right
one
now.
environment.
And then come October 1st, 2021, let's just say you sign up for Business Central on October 2nd, 2021.
A new customer.
Customer.
After
You're going to get 1 production environment and 3 sandbox environments.
only 1 production environment.
Yes.
Instead of 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so let's just say you're an existing customer now and October 1st rolls around, but you're still under your monthly subscription or whatever.
And I have 3 production environments.
And 3 sandbox.
Yeah.
Once your subscription ends, when you have to renew it for that month or whatever it is, you then go down to 1 production and 3 sandbox environments, and we'll have to purchase
the
other
additional
2 production
2.
environments if you need them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we could put a link to that announcement on the podcast page.
Yep. I have it here. I will definitely put it.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty good chunk of change for
It could be.
it's like
Yeah.
what, 500?
I don't know the exact number of what it is. I know they've changed some of the pricing
Yeah.
on Business Central and environments and storage and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something people definitely should be aware of. I think most Business Central companies only have 1 production environment.
Yeah.
Like probably the vast majority.
Right.
Really only have 1 production environment. Maybe there's multiple companies in there, but they have 1 production environment and then a couple sandboxes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are some out there that have maybe multiple production environments, completely separate, environments. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see what else we got here. In version 19, delegated admins will not be created as super users like they were in the past. They will be given D365 full access, which obviously you can adjust it any way you want from there. So when you're creating it, they're not going to be a super right off the bat.
Okay.
Um,
And this is coming out in the fall with 2021 Wave 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
which wasn't listed, I guess, in the
Okay. Yeah. Version
actual
19, you said.
right, version 19, yeah.
Yep.
What do you got, Ken?
Version 18.4. So this is the monthly August update for Business Central Online. It has 10 platform updates, 68 application updates, and there's actually and there's for localization updates and regulatory updates. There are a few out there for various different locations. There were 3 for the U.S. localization. And then I also was looking out there. I was kind of looking at, well, we're in August, right? And October is when 2021 Wave 2 is coming out. So I thought I'd do a little fact check and see, has Microsoft now fully deployed all of the features that they said would be deployed with 2021 Wave 1 that came out in April.
Right.
And there actually is a web page that you can go to and you can look up, and it lists every feature that came out with that version, which is 18, in a little green check mark next to everything that's been deployed.
Okay.
There were 4
Oh.
that did not yet have a green check mark next to it. 2 of them were development environment things that we always usually
Nobody needs that, yeah.
It was extension validation on update was one, and automated compilation validation in the app source submission process. So something to do with when you're submitting apps, right? Then the third one was virtual tables for Microsoft Dataverse. Kind of no information on that one. And then the last piece was probably the most end usery feature, which is the integration of Word templates with the interaction templates feature inside, where you could actually do Word mail merge of fields when you're logging an interaction segment.
Nice.
So that was it was weird. It looked like maybe it was supposed to come out in July,
Really?
but there was no green check mark next to it. So
they've got
sure.
just a little bit over a month left to get those 4 features deployed, right?
Right. Yep.
What do you think?
Well, let's stay tuned. Tune in next month.
Yeah, I think they'll be deployed. It's good though. I haven't gone back and looked at any of the other ones, so I don't know if they've actually hit the mark every release wave. So,
yep,
not bad, not bad. Any other breaking news you got over there, Ken?
I don't think so. I think a couple of little tidbits. The BC User Group Summit is on in October in Houston. I'm excited to go there. We talked about that last month. I'm leading a few sessions there, and it should be a good time. And then also there is a Business Central Partner Conference that's been scheduled. I want to believe it's April of 2022 in Orlando.
Nice.
Is the schedule for that.
What are the sessions you're leading again in Texas? What are they about?
So it's how to build custom reports in 5 minutes using Power BI for Business Central.
Nice.
And then also comparing and contrasting the manufacturing module with assemblies with jobs. And we're gonna build a brew pub. As our example of how do we use each of those applications in the different things, right? I mean, why not build it? If we're gonna build something,
why not?
Why not build a brewery?
Exactly, definitely. I completely agree. All right, so I've actually have let's revisit a little segment that we haven't done in a while, and it used to be one of my favorites. Still is one of my favorites, called the Stump Ken segment.
Oh boy.
I got a softball question here for you today, Ken. Not a question, but softball thing for you. Let's see.
True or false? Not quite.
Let's see. Yes or no, I guess. So close enough. Yeah.
50% chance is a softball.
Yeah. So I went back and I was updating some of our more popular, like older blog posts, and one of the posts that was pretty popular described how to find the system version that you're currently running within Business Central. Okay. My question to you is, Does the systems information page contain the version of Business Central in Business Central? So the systems information page inside Business Central,
Mhm.
does that contain what version you're running?
No.
No. And you say this why? Just guessing?
Because there is no system information.
Got you.
page.
Good, nice, yes. Correct. No.
That's a trick question on top of it, huh?
No. There is no system page in Central.
Right.
See, softball
It's-
question for
It's
power
in
user
the,
like
in
you.
the, so if I can, now people are like, well, where the hell do I find out my version?
Oh, it's a lot easier
In
now.
the admin center.
Or you can click the help, the question mark help, click that. And then if you actually click help and support, the
Right
version
there.
is right there. Yeah,
Right
so
there.
it's right
Okay,
there.
That's even easier. But I just always check. I go in right up, same thing on the gear icon. If you have access to the admin center,
Yeah.
you can see actually the exact version that each of your environments
Yeah.
is currently deployed on.
I wonder why they get rid of the systems information page. It used to have the version on it, and they used to actually have a systems information page.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you keep track of how many of these? Seems like I get all these right, huh?
It was just sort of like a chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to make it a little bit more difficult, right?
Yeah, that was that was a tricky. It was a 50-50, but then you threw the twist in there.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
why not?
Yeah, so, well, that was added on. So, all right, that's all the news that we have this month. Generally, it's not too much news right before a major release, but Ken and Michael back for episode 29 of A Shot of Business Central and a Beer, the only podcast that pairs Business Central happenings with beer reviews. In this episode, to go along with the latest Business Central news, we're happy to have live in the office Karen Brudvig, hope I'm saying that right, and Dave Bollenbach.
Yeah.
Getting it right? All right, they are both from Avalara. Avalara helps businesses of all sizes get tax compliance right in partnership with leading ERP, accounting, e-commerce, and other financial management system providers. Avalara delivers automated cloud-based compliance solutions for transaction tax, including sales and use, VAT, GST, communications lodging, and other indirect tax types.
Wow.
Yeah,
We do it all.
yeah. It's pretty funny. The light got.
Buckle up, everyone. We're about to talk sales tax.
Get ready. So Karen and Dave, how's it going? Oh, I want to mention really quick too that they did bring in the beer for this special podcast. So
Yeah.
how's it going, and what did you bring us?
It's going well.
It's going great. Flew in to Chicago a couple days ago and it's been great. So thanks again for having us.
Nice. Where'd you flying from?
I'm from DC. So
Oh.
flew in from DC on Tuesday. So
Nice.
I brought in, so I drink the beer of the gluten-free variety. So I brought in Glutenberg Blonde Ale. It's also a variety pack and it is quite tasty.
Ooh, starting out with the review early.
Yeah.
Dave, where are
Yeah.
you from? What'd you bring in?
So I'm originally from Pennsylvania, moved down to North Carolina a couple months ago. So flew up here yesterday. We brought up it was just a Chicago beer. I went to the store and was like, let's stay local here. So it's a half acre Tome Hazy Pale Ale. So it's good.
It's delicious.
Good.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
did it for you, Ken.
Great can.
So part of what makes this fun is we like to go out and we pick different beers and then we go out onto the internet and we see what people think of them. Right.
Yep.
And so it's always entertaining just to see what people's thoughts are. And so let's start with the hazy pale ale
Mhm.
that we did some research on. And you can kind of try to picture what this person looks like that's writing it. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's the funnest part. Pours a hazy golden straw color with a clingy, dense eggshell white head. What sticks out on the nose is the density of the tropical citrus aromas. There's a plethora of ripe oranges, pithy grapefruit, and surprising lemons. Packed wall to wall.
I love the.
Is that
pithy
the same
grapefruit.
exact thing you thought?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
God.
Hardcore beer drinker right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my goodness.
Pithy grapefruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a plethora of oranges.
Eggshell colored head, unbelievable.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
He or she has reviewed a few beers in their day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They choose their words carefully.
Yeah.
And the Glutenberg Blonde. Now, I'm gonna tell you, there's, sometimes they're pretty rough. out here. So we'll start with some overall a nice, light, refreshing, gluten-free beer. So not the worst I've had, but not the best either. Okay.
That's fair.
This is a science experiment gone wrong. I've had corn beer before, and this is by far the worst. And then squeeze a lemon wedge into this beer. I'm not a fruit garnish guy, but this is also not a normal beer. So,
Fair enough. We gotta limit it.
so
I have to say, as with the corn beers, it is a little, I think it's a step up from Corona, but that's just my personal opinion because I've tried a lot of gluten-free beers and they're really bad. So
yeah, well,
this is on a scale of, whatever, gluten-free beers, I would say this is average.
one of the best.
One of the
And that
better.
is what I also saw. This is
Yeah.
one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Did they have ratings at all?
Yeah, they're really anything that's like a lighter beer or a blonde beer. Usually the ratings are low.
Yeah.
Like Miller Lite or
Yeah.
Corona is like 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Like they just bash them.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
Two low twos or something.
Yeah.
But like a hazy IPA
Right.
or a stout or something,
Right.
or whiskey barrel aged. Those are the ones
They love it.
they love. Yeah. So
Oh, unbelievable. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, at first I tried the beer. It's got a good taste right off the bat. I don't get any horse blanket. That was one of
No.
our favorite reviews.
Horse blanket.
Yeah, somebody said something tastes like horse blanket.
Yeah.
Like, what?
it's a thing.
Yeah, there you go.
But for me, it has a pretty overwhelming aftertaste. So we're gonna see where we end up rating it at.
How would you describe the aftertaste?
Garbage.
Yeah. Michael started off a little higher on this beer. I think we're plummeting. We're in a nosedive right
No,
now.
I mean, how would I describe the aftertaste?
I think it's the mosaic hops. I think that's the aftertaste stuff.
So does that mean like a bunch of hops put together?
It's just that it's a mix of different ones, and like that one is like the most strongest, I guess. Or
It's a shame because
tastiest.
the first sip, I like the taste. The flavor's
Yeah,
pretty good.
you just got to keep drinking it.
But right after, if I
Nothing
chug it,
wrong.
I'll love it for the first minute. And then-
Yeah. And you don't have one aftertaste and a lot of drink.
Oh, not too bad.
All right.
All right, so you guys told us a little bit about where you're from. Tell us a little bit about what you do at Avalara.
So I'm a strategic alliance manager. So I manage the relationships between Avalara and our Microsoft partners. So I work really closely with you guys at Solution Systems.
Yes, and we're very happy to work with you.
It's been
Yeah.
How about you, Dave?
And I'm a sales executive, so I'm on the Microsoft team at Avalara. So working with companies that have Microsoft, and kind of the myriad of Microsoft products. And yeah, I work with Karen, obviously paired with you guys, which is awesome. I'm working with Solution Systems, so.
yeah. And you talk to, end users,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
So if companies out there, they're not sure what their compliance requirements are, or if Avalara, it will work for them, you're actually kind of first
Yeah.
line of defense, so to speak, and
Exactly.
in there, making sure it's a good fit and offering the right solution.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I would be directly working with any customer that would be potentially interested in Avalara solutions, or looking to automate any type of their sales tax process. So I'm kind of that first line of defense there.
I'm gonna put you two on the spot real quick. Favorite ERP is Business Central.
Business
100%.
for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That was
All
close. Are
right.
you gonna kick them out if they didn't? say?
Yeah, take back the beer. Oh, it's too funny. So Avalara, obviously, a lot of people think of sales tax when they hear Avalara. It's what I think of too. But I mean, there's more to it, right? Sales Nexus or sales tax Nexus and whatnot. Can you explain to us a little bit about what sales tax Nexus is? Or am I saying that right?
Yes,
Sales
you are.
tax Nexus.
Yeah, so I mean, at the core, like Nexus is really just where you need to, where you are doing business that you need to collect sales tax on. And historically, it was kind of a lot more cut and dry than it is today, where it really was just based on your physical presence. That all kind of changed a few years ago with the Wayfair case, or South Dakota versus Wayfair, which changed the kind of metrics that states are looking at to allow economic nexus to be a thing now. So it's basically based on the number of sales or revenue that you're doing, and each state has their own kind of take on it. But the Supreme Court said, hey, we want to allow states to get a piece of that revenue, because there's obviously online sales and just sales across borders that you don't have a physical presence in. So that has really changed the game in the last 3 years, where companies, you have a couple locations, but you're doing business all over the United States, and you really need to get registered and start collecting sales tax across the board. So that's definitely been a big driver for our business. But a lot of our job is to educate and make sure that people are staying in compliance and getting in compliance if they need to hopefully save pain down the road.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you're selling stuff online, you have to be compliant, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The hard part is every state has different laws or rules or regulations or whatnot, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not even just online. I mean, online's the easy one. But you could just be doing sales, just shipping sales, right? You could just be taking phone orders and shipping sales, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of states are even looking at exempt transactions as a kind of, it's fulfilling the nexus requirement. So take California, for example, even if you have 100% exempt sales for resale, for example, a manufacturer, typical, they still want you to register if you've done $500,000 or more in a year in California. So that's where the exemption certificate piece comes in, where companies don't realize that they need to get registered in certain states. So there's just a lot of it can be sort of ambiguous, but each state definitely does have their own rules, and it's not all the same. It's the United States. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I can tell you firsthand. I mean, I remember a few years ago, right, as a cloud solution provider, we're selling various cloud-based solutions, trying to identify in the state of Illinois, are these subscriptions things that we
Right.
need to be taxing? Even our accounting firm struggled to provide us with a concrete answer on the question. It's like, well, wait, if you don't know, how is a company supposed to know? On that. So, and let's be honest, right? This is potential revenue for these states.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Huge.
So they will, even if you're 100% exempt, right? Are they going to come after you and go, well, look, you didn't have a valid resale certificate here, so there's a penalty and fees and things associated with that then? I mean,
Yeah, that's really where, companies that say, oh, we're completely exempt, well, all of your liability is really in those exemption certificates and being able to prove that you are selling, to exempt customers. So, yeah, absolutely. That's really how companies how states come after you, is through audits and fines. And that's honestly, certificates are basically the first thing that they ask for is, hey, give me your certificates in the state that I am, representing. So
Nobody wants to get audited, that's for sure. Nobody probably wants a fine, right?
no fun.
Mhm.
So I know that Avalara recently rolled out their annual mid-year sales tax changes white paper. What are some of the highlights for tax law changes this year, and how has COVID impacted this?
So this is actually one of my favorite things that we roll out, because I kind of geek out on the data. So we roll out beginning of year and then mid-year sales tax changes. And then we also partnered with the Urban Brookings Institute to roll out a white paper as well, just to see how sales tax was affected. So really sexy reading stuff, but pour yourself a glass of wine or have a beer, and it's an interesting read. So I definitely read it with a glass of wine, I believe. But yeah, it was fun stuff. So things that really changed with COVID is a lot of states were offering relief, and then also like federal relief really helped them as well. So originally it was thought that states were going to have this huge decline in like revenue from sales tax, but once when they were doing surveys to the states, it does sound like most actually fared a lot better than expected. A lot of that was driven by those states that did have economic nexus. The states that didn't have economic nexus at the time definitely saw that decline because someone like, I believe Florida didn't have that, or and they also are run by tourism, and so like losing both of those, so they rolled out changes and implemented economic nexus down there as well. So those states didn't fare as well, especially like tourism, like obviously like Nevada, Texas, Hawaii, and then those kind of reliant more on like natural resource like oil, like Wyoming, Alaska, North Dakota. So yeah, it was really interesting just to see kind of how everyone fared that way. As part of the review, states are definitely looking to expand excise taxes and legalizing marijuana, taxation of e-cigarettes. So definitely be looking for those things. And trying to, again, those states, especially those states that saw the decline, they're definitely going to be looking at new revenue sources that way. And then
new revenue sources.
And then also ones that are just looking to tax, like you'll see a lot of digital streaming, a lot of digital software, like figuring out software as a service. Like I can't imagine your company right now in some states trying to figure out, okay, like this might be taxed as hardware, this might be taxed as software, this might be streaming. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on those changes as well.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to streaming things to be taxed at all.
Yeah, right.
Everything is streamed now, whether it's Netflix or ERP software, basically. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think Maryland just made a change a month ago and started taxing streaming services.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, Michael.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna happen.
But it's just same with like the gas tax, the driving tax, the mileage tax. I think that's only a matter of time too for the United States.
Yeah, see. I mean, they need it, and as things change, right? I mean, as the retail space changes to more, more e-commerce and all that, states needed to get that revenue. So,
yeah. I longed for the old days when you could buy something online and there was no tax.
I know.
It was great.
I know.
It was actually a shock to my system when I moved to Australia in 2017 and moved back in 2021. And buying stuff online, I was used to not paying for anything when I was in America, and I didn't realize that when I started with Avalara in January. So I was like,
Wow.
this is why Wayfair in 2018. So welcome back to America.
Wayfair was big for Avalara too, though. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
It's
force.
Yeah, absolutely. Big.
Awesome. So, since we've gotten past all the technical stuff now, what Avalara does and sales tax and all the good stuff.
Sexy stuff.
Yeah, all the sexy stuff, exactly. What's the benefit of a Business Central partner, user, whatever, working with Avalara?
Yeah, so I think what we're all the problem that we solve is kind of multifaceted, but a lot of it is in saving time, doing just at its base, in order to stay compliant, there's 12,000 U.S. taxing jurisdictions, right? So over 12,000. And so just without even taking into products and what you're selling or anything like that, just keeping your tax rates updated and your tax tables or using the native functionality in Business Central, it just becomes something that's almost impossible if you're doing business on a wider scale than just a state. And so really by integrating with Avalara, you're relying on us and the 200 plus people that are doing research, 200 people that are doing tax research at Avalara. So really it's kind of, you do an implementation, you get things set up with Avalara, and then we're handling all of those tax changes. We're handling any type of standard rate changes. And then also if you have, what we're talking about here with some of the products that you're selling may have differing taxability or services, we're handling all of that on your behalf. So really from a Business Central piece, you're able to continue to work out a Business Central point for the tax function, point it to Avalara, and allow Avalara to take all of that heavy lifting off of your, internal team. So that's really just from the calculation standpoint. We also have ways to really automate directly from Business Central, the exemption certificate function, reaching out to customers to get new certificates and verify them, and then the back end with returns filing and all of that. So definitely some hopefully risk management that we can offer, as well as just a big time saver as you grow.
Yeah. And I feel personally that, as coming from, I've an accounting background, and I did my own share of sales tax returns for several states.
Yeah.
At one point. And I think an undersold area is the filing services.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? At the end of the month, right now, Avalara has all of the data. Right?
Exactly.
So instead of me having to print out reports, go in, I mean, have you seen some of these sales tax returns? Like they have to fill out how many pages they are?
One of the things that we have to do in as new employee kind of training is try to fill out a California sales tax return. And it's just like, yeah,
It's wild.
it takes forever and it's a pain and you always get something wrong. So, and that's California. Theirs is more like labor intensive, but it's not even the hardest one. And to your point, it takes a lot.
So even if you could, quote, do your best to keep the rates up to date in the system, right? Maybe you don't have very many customers.
Yeah.
So you can kind of manage keeping the rates up to date in the system, completing the monthly tax returns and remitting the payments and everything on a regular basis, and remembering to do it and all that jazz, and not making errors. I mean, to me, there's huge value on that side too, right?
Thank you. Yeah. We agree.
Think about like 2 days. I mean, if it's going to take someone 2 days, right?
Yeah,
a month,
absolutely.
every month to do all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to make mistakes and
Sure.
So yeah, I think I like the whole thing, tying the whole thing together.
Mhm.
I mean, you could, if you look at it this way, if you get to where you're at the point where you're at 25 or 30 states or something or more, right? It's like another body, another person.
Absolutely.
You're having to hire a full-time resource
Absolutely.
to manage all this stuff. So
Yeah.
there's your instant ROI.
And we're seeing, I talk to people almost every day that are realizing where they're at with their business, where they need to immediately register in 15 more states.
Right.
And, the education process there is, oh my goodness, that's, what are we going to do? And that's the beauty of automation. That's the beauty of outsourcing and software, where you are able to, have an implementation and then really kind of be able to set it and forget it and allow Avalara to do our thing in the background and hopefully ensure that tax isn't something that's slowing down your business at any time. Taxes, we have to talk about it, but nobody likes to talk about it, and we get that. But it's one of those things like, let's make sure it goes away and we do things right because it's the law.
Yeah.
And then it never actually affects the business, because if the business really gets affected and slowed down from an audit and massive penalties and people are getting, we've seen CFOs getting fired, and it can be a big problem, right? If it's not addressed properly. So
it's almost like, look at it this way. Let's talk about sales tax a lot now up front.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to talk about it much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Allow your people to do their job and not have to worry about this stuff.
I feel like those who take the proactive approach and take care of it, definitely will help their growth. But also all the people you guys talk to, it's all reactive. Like you said, like, oh, we have to register in 50 more states. We don't know. So, but again, no one wants to talk about sales tax, and they don't want to think about it.
I think though a lot of it too is like from a, let's say, Business Central perspective, a lot of people think, oh, I can just download the app for Avalara whenever I want, add it to Business Central, and everything's done. Everything's taken care of. Is that true, or is there more to it than just somebody downloading an app and
yeah? Any tips or tricks or guidance on companies that might be about to embark on an Avalara implementation?
Yeah, I would say to take it seriously and to, as much as there are some really easy pieces of it that are, and we make our software as intuitive as possible. it is still a project, and it really depends on your business. So hopefully, you're kind of doing the due diligence to understand what complexities you guys have as a business. There's companies that are super complex, and then there's some companies that are not complex. So it really depends. But I think the key is to just take it seriously, understand that it is a project, and you want to get it right up front, because trying to rush through something a lot of times can lead to issues in the future. And if you don't set something up correctly, then that's where you potentially could be setting it up, wrong, and then you're having issues on the back end. So, we like to say it's not something that, you're going to be setting up in a week. You want to make sure you test it. You want to go through your scenarios so that you're making sure that the system is set up correctly and that your users are used to it. Give it a month to 3 months for a typical company. That's what we're hoping to see.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think we just do, like I said, we download the app in a day, we'll put it all together, put our settings in,
Right.
we're up and running, we're ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
But as is not the case, so.
Yeah.
All right, so why should businesses choose Avalara to automate sales tax? Who wants to take it?
Dave,
You want me to take it, Karen?
you're doing such a great job.
Well, I think that, we have kind of proven ourselves over the last, since the early 2000s, that we really are the market leader in this space. We've been around the block, and, our software is set up to scale. So we were originally really created for small to mid-sized businesses, and we've grown with our customers over, since the early 2000s. So our goal is to really be a compliance suite that can handle everything that you need. So, and again, it could be that you really only need one or two pieces today, but you might need the third, fourth, fifth piece. You might go global. You might, need cross-border help. You might need us to help with registrations or back tax filings and all of that. So there's so much that we can help with. And I think that really does set us apart. Is the breadth of our services that we're able to provide, the way that we can really scale with customers' needs, and just that we've really seen it all with the thousands and thousands of customers that we have. It's almost 100% sure that we've seen your situation before and can get you set up correctly so that you're not having to 3 years down the road look at another vendor. We want to be your partner for 20 years. That's really our goal.
Yeah, I mean, Avalara, right? You guys are a publicly traded global company, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've seen it all.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing here, and I know, don't have to disclose, but guessing definitely the greatest number of Business Central sales tax deployments.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Hands
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. So Microsoft was it was with GP, but it was our first integration at Avalara. We now have up to almost 1,000 integrations, but with Business Central, we absolutely are really, it is us, and it's a great thing, the partnership that we have with Microsoft, you guys, with with Business Central. It's been great. So yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we should rate the beers, and then I've got some speed round questions. I don't know if you want to ask anything else before that.
No, I was just thinking about rating the beer myself.
All right. So the way it works, the way Ken said before, is if it's 50 or below, you cannot have another one.
Okay.
You're not, or you can, but you're not going to want to drink another one. But 50 above, you'll have more than one.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go first? I'll go first.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to give this a rating of, I don't have my list in front of me. I think my lowest you said was 19. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Dave, we're never gonna let you come back.
I'm going to go 66.
Okay. It's higher than I
Higher
thought.
than I thought you'd go.
Yeah, if I were out, I could have a couple.
Okay.
No, I could have a couple. No,
Okay.
I mean, if I couldn't drink more than one, I'll let you know. But yeah, I could have a couple. But
Mhm.
I mean, I probably wouldn't go more than 2 or 3 in a night.
Yeah.
Just because it's the aftertaste that's killing me. If the aftertaste wasn't there, I'd be probably 85.
Mhm.
But the aftertaste gets me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Fair score.
So I'm gonna go 94.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 94. I cheated.
third highest?
Yeah, I do have some of my previous rankings in front of me, so I was able to kind of look at that and go, okay, where do I think this fits in here? So yeah, it's right in my wheelhouse, you know,
Yeah.
so I like it. And then now I'm kind of cheating because I'm looking at like what I gave some other beers in the past.
Mhm.
So I'm now
That's a
looking at it going, okay, well, no, it's better than this, right? But it's not as good as this. So,
I still, I mean, it's got to be
Very good.
top 5 for
very
you.
good, yeah.
Easy. It's a,
Wow, well done.
I think I would go with an 86.
nice.
86. High, but yeah. I agree. There is somewhat of an aftertaste. And kind of to your point, like I probably wouldn't drink more than a couple of them at a time, but I really like it. But that's kind of me with IPAs. I really like IPAs, but if I'm going to drink a bunch of beer, it's going to be like a Miller Lite. So yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear, I hope this isn't a speed round question. If you had a go-to beer,
Yeah.
you get one beer. Is there one that is a go-to that you're gonna?
Yes, it's a very local beer with a terrible name. To me in Pennsylvania, it's called it's Stolen Sons. It's called Baby Juices, and look it up. I'm sorry, but it is this, but
Much better.
much better.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so good. Yeah,
All right.
No aftertaste.
no aftertaste, Michael. If you come to Pennsylvania,
What's your go-to beer then?
My go-to, if it was readily available, would be the Lakefront New Grist.
Like,
Also gluten-free.
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
Milwaukee
and I actually found it in Virginia. So
really?
yeah, and it's a really good gluten-free beer. If I was not gluten-free, I would have a very different answer. Because, like, I feel like your 1 to 50 rating is just like gluten-free beers.
well, how would you on the gluten?
So-
We wouldn't make it.
We've had Angry Orchard.
That's
I think
it,
that may be the
It's not a
only.
beer though. It's a cider.
Was that your
Yeah,
was that your
yeah.
19?
So that's. doesn't
Yeah.
qualify.
These are good though. I would rate this one, if it was cold, I would definitely rate it probably like 90.
Wow.
But
Nice.
since it's a little warmer, we're gonna go 78.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's higher than I would have went with warm beer.
Oh, it was chilled a little bit.
It was air
it's very
conditioned.
drinkable.
yeah, I'd probably be in the 40s if that. I don't know. Does gluten change the flavor of beers?
Well, like Corona, you enjoy a good Corona. Corona's
Yeah.
gluten free.
Is
It's
it?
made
yeah.
from corn.
Yeah, it's made from corn.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at this.
Yeah, learn something
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
So, like Sapporo is a rice beer, so that's gluten free. So,
I had no idea.
yeah,
Learn something new every day.
I love beer, so I always try to figure out what is the easiest thing to drink. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've got 5 yes or no speed questions. We're gonna hit real fast. Just say yes or no. No need to elaborate or anything like that. So
Okay.
let's do. Karen, we will do you first. All right.
Mhm.
Do you envision a world where online sales tax rates and compliance will be the same no matter which state you're doing business in?
No.
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
Great.
No. Yeah.
I'm saying yes. I agree with Karen.
He's edgy.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my first
There's
speed
no
round.
way.
Give me a chance. I'm nervous.
Have you ever had a dream that involves sales tax?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Currently,
Saying stuff over here.
Yeah.
It was probably when I first
I've been in this
started.
space for 6 years. It comes through my pores.
currently 45 states collect statewide sales taxes. Do you think these states will make any changes to their current tax laws?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably whole funds. Do companies selling, did I write this right? Do companies selling to mainly exempt customers need to worry about sales tax?
Yes.
Yes.
And last but not least, are you team gravy or team sauce?
Or you don't know what that question is.
I'm gonna
Oh,
go
we
with,
debated.
Ken, we gotta talk to you about this.
Yeah, he doesn't know, yeah.
because I'm in Chicago, I feel like I should say gravy, but I'm from Iowa, so I'm gonna go with sauce.
Yeah.
I'm team sauce as well.
Sauce.
Your team sauce? too?
Sauce?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ken, South
Are you the only
Not
gravy fan?
Italian.
South side
I
though.
think you have to be Italian.
I don't know.
I feel like it is definitely an Italian.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't
I
know.
think it's an Italian thing.
Polo.
Polish. All right. Well, that about sums it up for this segment or whatnot. We appreciate everybody being here live and in studio. So
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
It's
for having me.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a good
It
time.
was fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back. In our featured app segment today, we're going to be taking a look at a nice little app called Shipping Connector. So Shipping Connector is an app that's provided by a company called Software Grotto. It does have a very high rating on App Source, 4.7 out of 5.
Yep.
I wanted to talk about this one today because this is an app that we've deployed multiple times successfully. And I think that it really provides a lot of value. And there's, while it may not be the right solution for every company, if it does meet your requirements, it does it in a really affordable and easy to implement way.
Yeah, just by reading it and everything, ease of use sounds pretty big deal in what they're shooting for. And from you explaining it to me earlier, it sounds like it's
Yep.
very
So
easy.
I'll just kind of explain what it is. So let's say it's mainly for small parcel shipping. So UPS, FedEx, and USPS, right, is what it integrates with. And the idea is that you install the app into Business Central. There is an optional feature to do ship to address verification and also rate shopping. So from your sales orders, you can actually do rate shopping. Those are extra pieces. They're not required as part of the standard solution, but you can add those. But in essence, what you're doing is you're entering your sales orders into Business Central, just like you do today. And maybe today you have UPS World Ship sitting out on a workstation in the shipping area. Well, all we do is we add a button there, a link for the shipping person to enter the Business Central order number. And when they enter the order number, it's going to go connect to Business Central and pull in the ship to name and address off of the sales order. So you're eliminating a lot of potential issues with having the wrong address, inconsistent addresses. If you do a lot of one-time drop ship locations, this could be a huge improvement for that for you. Yeah. So it's integrating your sales order data with WorldShip. The second piece is once you complete your shipment, it's going to write back a record with the tracking number and price and cost information back into Business Central. So now once you ship and invoice the order in Business Central, a user can go in and the customer service person has all the tracking information and they can track the package right from the posted shipment or invoice page.
Sounds pretty easy to use.
Yeah. So, and then that is, in my opinion, I like it because in my experience, when we implement shipping solutions, one of the more difficult parts of the project maybe isn't the technical piece or installing it, right, or configuring it. It's training the warehouse staff on how to ship packages out, right?
Gotcha.
Because they're used to using WorldShip or FedEx Shipping Manager, right? With this solution, they continue using those solutions, right? We don't have to train them on how to use a new page within Business Central or a new shipping user interface, right? Which significantly cuts down on the training and deployment time required.
So would you say this is more like a basic type of software where it's either going to work for you or it's not going to work for you? There's really no in between, or what?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think if and they also have a very nice web page, by the way, shippingconnector365.com, with a lot of great information up there. I think most people will be able to go to the website, learn about how the product works and what it does, and make that decision for themselves to say, yes, I think this will work for us. Now, it's available for on-premise or online, Business Central Online. If you're online, you obviously can download the app from App Source. There's a 30-day free trial. If you're Business Central on-premise, you can also install the app into your on-premise environment and run it from there too. So
pretty cool.
And pricing is pretty straightforward. It's right now we're looking at the website, $99 per month for the standard shipping solution. And that includes using up to 3 Business Central companies. So some people have multiple companies, so that's up to 3 companies. And then again, like, for 25 more bucks a month, you can do ship to address verification. Rate shopping is available. And if you do, let's say the most complex environment, do you want to verify ship to addresses, you want rate shopping on your orders, and you do warehouse shipments. All in $199 per month.
For everything.
Yeah.
Not too bad, not too
Right.
bad at all.
So
So when you've installed this in the past, installation's pretty simple, no major hiccups or whatnot.
yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It is what it is, does what it does. There is the possibility that you can change kind of the mapping also of which fields map from Business Central into UPS World Ship, or what data is getting sent back. I would advise against that. But if there is a requirement for that, that is something that's possible too. So I think overall, like I said, there are multiple shipping apps for Business Central.
Right.
And I think, like, to your point,
Some are really complicated.
if I have, I'm doing EDI and I have detailed ASN requirements, or I'm doing a lot of truckload or LTL deliveries, and I'm looking for a solution that has, some good integration for that.
This isn't it, right?
This isn't the solution for you.
Gotcha.
And that's fine. There's other solutions out there, to meet those needs. But I always, to start here is a really good idea, because I think it's easy to implement, pretty straightforward. Not a lot of retraining required for your resources in your warehouse or your office. So
Pretty good. Finally, we get an app on here that works. All right. So next up, we're going to be talking about our feature segment. Stick around. It's going to be interesting. Ken and Michael back for the featured segment of Business Central, or shot at Business Central and a beer. And today we're going to be talking about inventory adjustments. So Ken, I got some quantities that need to be adjusted, and then my dollars are off on the values. So how do I go about doing this? And even tell me a little bit more about maybe what inventory adjustments are, so that I know.
Yep. So this is an oldie but a goodie, right? So this is not, sometimes we always focus on the new features of what's new and exciting and coming out and sexy. This is like a nuts and bolts feature that any company that has inventory items needs to understand. How do I adjust inventory? What's the best way to adjust my inventory? And so there's really 2 different types of adjustments that we can do. The first is quantity adjustments. So if we're going to just adjust the quantity of how many you have on hand, let's say the system thinks you had 100 on hand, you go out there and you actually counted it, and there's only 95. So you need to do a negatively adjust 5 out. There's the what's called the item journal page. So the easiest way to do it is you go into the item journal page, you put in today's date, you tell it you want to do a negative adjustment, you pick your item number, your quantity, and you hit the post button.
Simple enough.
Easy. If you're using advanced warehouse management, you use what's called the warehouse item journal. Same steps. The only difference is what you're doing there with the advanced warehouse is you're reducing the quantities that are available in that bin. And then there's a second step that has to be run in the item journal where you pull in those adjustments to adjust the value, the dollar value of inventory.
Okay.
So with advanced warehousing, they've kind of split it into so that warehouse personnel are not directly impacting the financial statements.
Gotcha.
But basically, it's a journal page. You enter the item, the quantity, the date, hit the post button. Right.
Okay.
So straightforward. You can also, if maybe you have more than you thought. Instead of 100, you actually have 105. Same exact process. You just do a positive adjustment. Okay. Now, the one little caveat: when you do a positive adjustment of inventory, You're basically creating inventory out of thin air as far as the system's concerned. So there is a unit cost field in the item journal. So you go in there, you say, okay, today I'm going to add 5 more of these widgets in inventory. It's going to populate that unit cost with your current average cost for that item. So my recommendation is most people, you should hide that field or right, just ignore it or not allow the user to change it because the user actually could type anything they want in there. They type $1 million.
Yeah.
You now have another $1 million of inventory.
Or
right?
too little. Yeah.
Right. So on the negative adjustments, the system is going to do a FIFO application of the cost. So on a negative adjustment, the user could type $1 million in there, but the adjust cost process is going to override that and correct it based on your cost layers.
So what for some of us layman's people, what's a FIFO?
First in, first out.
First in, first out.
So it's just going to grab the oldest layer of inventory and say, okay, I'm applying this negative adjustment against this oldest layer of inventory. Let's reduce that, right? Unless you're lot tracked, in which case it'll actually reduce the quantity of that specific lot, right? Okay. But on a positive adjustment, you're adding to inventory. So when the user updates that unit cost field, that is what the system is going to put that into inventory at. So you just have to be a little careful on that, right? So those are quantity adjustments. Really straightforward.
Yeah, pretty simple.
There is a separate physical inventory journal, right? So if you're doing a periodic physical count or cycle count, there is a physical inventory journal that you can use. Usually that's more like where you're gonna count a whole bunch of items at once, and then you're gonna want to record your counted quantities. It's just another journal. It works very similarly. There's a couple little added features in there.
Yeah.
But that's pretty straightforward. And most people understand how to do these quantity adjustments. The little known, lesser known feature within Business Central is the revaluation journal. So now let's say we correct your inventory and we've now got 105 on hand, but they're in there at $1 a piece. And you say, you know what, this is totally wrong. This should be in there at $5 a piece. I don't know, someone just entered it wrong. Maybe when you were doing your positive adjustment, you put in the wrong unit cost and you threw it off.
For sure.
So what you could possibly do is do a negative adjustment of 105, right?
Start fresh, basically.
And then add a new 105 at the right cost. That's not the recommended approach.
Okay.
Because you're now adjusting, you're creating additional item ledger entries and changing your FIFO
Basically
layers.
your adjustment, yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
So the revaluation journal is a page. So what you can do is you can go in there and you can do it one of two ways. You can either say, go grab all my inventory that's currently on hand for this item, and I want to revalue it. So, oh yeah, so we have 105, pull in that 105. You see that it's currently valued at $1. There's another field called revalued cost. You put $5 in there and you post it. And what it does is it actually doesn't create any item ledger entries, but it creates what's called a value entry underneath the existing item ledger entry to add $4 more to the value of it.
Okay. So that's huge.
So it keeps your item ledger entries clean, but now you've got this history in the underlying value entries that say, well, it was originally $1, and then I went in and I did a revaluation journal on this date to add $4 more. And then it sums those up to give you your total of $5. Right?
Makes sense.
So that's one way, and that's really common in commodities. So let's say you've got all this steel on hand, metals, or other types of commodity type materials. You've got all this on hand, and now the value of it went down. Well, the lower of cost or market rule from an accounting perspective says that you need to revalue that at the end of your reporting period. So that would be the easiest way to do it. Let's say we've got to revalue this down based on the current market prices.
So is there a hard way to do it?
The hard way would be to do it through item quantity adjustments.
Okay.
And now when you consider reservations or inventory allocations, you're creating even more hurdles and problems for yourself. So the revaluation journal is the easiest way to do it.
Gotcha.
The last little tidbit is sometimes, maybe most of your inventory cost layers are correct, but there's one cost layer that's in there that's wrong. You actually can go into the revaluation journal, enter your item number, and then use the applies to button to pick an existing cost layer that you want to update. And it will update just that cost layer. And here's the best feature. Go ahead. So
I was gonna say,
follow that.
it's you kind of lost me at that.
All right. So let's say we bought a bunch of widgets.
All right.
Right. So we bought some in January at $1 a piece.
Mhm.
We bought some in February at $2 a piece, and we bought some in March at $3 a piece.
Okay.
And you decide that, those that came in March at $3 a piece, though that was wrong.
Right.
Someone made an error. I need to revalue those March ones down to $1.50 or something. Right?
So you would do this is where you would do the
I would go pick that specific
Okay.
cost layer, and I would revalue the entire cost layer from $3 down to $1.50.
Okay.
And if you're paying close attention here, you might say, well, wait a minute. What if I've already sold that to a customer?
Good point.
I've already shipped and invoiced it to the customer. Guess what? You still can do it. Once you post the adjustment, the adjust cost process is going to run. It's going to see that you've sold it already and go adjust your cost of goods sold associated with that sales invoice.
Couldn't the price be wrong though then? Depending on what you sold it for and what.
Well, what you sold it for is what you sold it for, right?
Okay.
So we're assuming that's correct.
Okay.
But your profit margin on that invoice was wrong if it used the $3 cost, right?
Okay.
So we're saying now our cost really wasn't $3. It was really only $1.50. So we're actually going and we're most systems, by the way, wouldn't do that.
No.
Most systems would say, oh, you've already shipped an invoice that your statistics, your profitability statistics on that posted invoice are done. They are what they are. NAV Business Central will go update the cost associated with that and give you the correct adjusted profit percentages.
Nice.
So there's just some really cool there. So takeaways are, one, quantity adjustments, pretty straightforward. Positive adjustment, negative adjustments. If you're using it warehouse management, use the warehouse item journal, and then a second step to calculate that value into the item journal. And then valuation changes, use the revaluation journal. Not a lot of people understand that the revaluation journal's there or how and when to use it. So that's why I thought it would be it's always important. And really,
common accounting practice or no?
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, now, I'm not a certified accountant here to guide people, but there are certainly instances, either errors or lower of cost or market or other cases where you need to update the value of existing inventory. And the revaluation journal is how you do it.
Nice. So that's sounds like a pretty good feature.
That's some.
I do not know very much about that feature.
Yeah, well, it's
So?
frickin' accounting, man. That's like right. This is the weeds.
The development world of
We're like
financial.
you're standing in like 6 feet of weeds right now, and
That's awesome.
And this is so you either fast forwarded through this segment and you didn't even understand a word I said, or if this is what you do and need to do on a regular basis, you're like
Rewind, pause.
yeah. Whoa. What can I do?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Awesome. Good. I'm glad it'll be helpful for a bunch of people.
I hope so.
Pretty good. All right. Before we wrap up this podcast, Ken and I actually cracked open another beer here, that Karen Brudvig brought from Avalara.
Yeah.
Called Glutenberg Pale Ale. It's a millet, buckwheat, and corn beer. It is gluten-free, like
Yeah.
Corona, which I did not know.
Yeah. How about that?
What do you think about it, Ken?
You know what? I was pleasantly surprised. I like it. It's a little sweet. I wasn't expecting it to be so sweet, actually. But I mean, the flavor is good. That there's no aftertaste to it. It's got nice flavor. It's a little bit sweet, so I think I probably would stay away from drinking too many of them. But I definitely would rank it a lot higher than a lot of the other beers we've had.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's definitely sweeter, especially coming off of the other beer that we had earlier. It's a lot more sweeter. There is no aftertaste. I don't know. I get a lot of like Miller Lite taste or domestic beer type of a taste, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit sweeter, but yeah, I like it. It's not bad. It took me by surprise. Let's put it that way. So, all right. On our next podcast, we will be interviewing Mike Morton, who is the general manager of Business Central. That will be coming out in the middle of September. And then we're also going to get together at the end of September and bring you the latest news and all that good stuff. So pay attention.
Let's sharpen our pencils and put together some tough questions, huh?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, send them over too. We'll see if we might use them. But until next time, be sure to like it on the podcast, rate it, share the podcast. We appreciate it, and give us any feedback that you can. So talk to everybody later.
Bye.
As we end today's podcast, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listens, shares this podcast, and leaves us reviews. You've taken a good amount of your time out of your day, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks again, and don't be afraid to email us at marketing@solsyst.com with your tips for the podcast, or maybe you'd even like to be a guest during an episode.